and a half ago, my husband died. Now, he was very ill before that. So for the last 5 years, really, he wasn't so well. Sophie took over, and both he and I will step back to it. So financially, really, we are still stressed. You know, nothing has changed. So I decided last year, finally, to make a serious decision and to do that, and to approach different auctioneers, and ended up with the ones I chose. It transpired that the auctioneers were having difficulties to get the license. Mm-hmm. I never thought that because the collection would be sold, the house would crumble, you know. Of course it would change, and it would have to, in a way, be reinvented possibly, or it would have to, yes, one has to approach the whole thing differently. Tourism, we feel, well, from our numbers, has gone down, and it also, now there are more things to see, of course, than there were 20 years ago. So if people have a choice and they don't have endless funds, so they say, well, we've seen, and let's say they go to Killarney, because they can drive from Cork to Killarney very quickly, and they have seen Macro's house. But they say, do we need another stately home? No, we'll go to Misenhead instead, and we save that, that 20 for the family, or whatever we charge for a family. With that move to sell the collection, I felt that I was doing something that may not be desirable, but that would not put any stress on anybody. Mm-hmm. You know, the government wouldn't, unless they want to buy it, but they don't have to. If you live in a place like that, you're surrounded by things that should be fixed. And eventually, and every time you look at it, you say, well, I would love to do that, but I can't afford that. And eventually it gets to you. And it doesn't need to be a big house. Imagine a small house. And, you know, your lintel falls down, and your window isn't tight, and your kitchen is a mess. So you either think, well, I better get rid of it, or I sell some land, or I sell something I have to fix that, or I get rid of the whole lot. Mm-hmm. Because, in a funny way, I felt, and I was living above my means. Yes, we owe money to the bank, mm-hmm. but to nobody else. Okay. You know.
Have they shown forbearance? I mean, have they been kind of reasonably flexible or understanding in relation to the situation?
No, lately. Right. But not. It's all the strangest coincidence that everything seems to happen, and the auctioneers have all of a sudden have no license, and always before that the bank was more. One could talk to them. Last year, very difficult, but things change because that's what life does. It changes. Granted, I would say I personally burned out because I find it difficult to look at things, at rooms upstairs that are looking the same they did 35 years ago when I came. Yeah. Do you see? That is a personal problem for me. I look at damages to inside and out. I look at a carpet in one of the bedrooms upstairs, and the first thought I had when I saw that room was, well, that carpet will have to go. It's still there.
In relation to the contents of the house, right? Yeah. The items that in any future auction might go under the hammer, right? Yeah. You've obviously got some incredibly important artifacts here, things that are of interest to, let's say, niche collectors, but also just in general. Have you actually placed a figure on the amount that you would expect them to be worth, or that you would hope they would be worth? And does that equate to the amount of money that would put you in the clear?
Of course not. Yes, that in the clear. Well, yes. So you have that certainty. It's pedigree, and for collectors that matters. If I didn't think it would make any money, I wouldn't have gone there.
Oh, of course.
You know,
but can you give us an idea, I suppose, of maybe the general span of things? You know,
when you're looking from I suppose from 900,000 up to 1.8, you know.
Right. Okay.
again, depending on interest.
And of course it can...
That's an overall figure?
Yes,
for the lot.
It can fall on its face in an auction. You don't know that. And what's rare in this house, I'll tell you exactly what's rare, all over Europe, is that it still has the furnishing that was meant to be in it, and it all aged together. So you have the drawing rooms, the carpets, the tapestry, the furniture, all distressed together. And that's what gives it its, and you wouldn't know it because it's, what's it called when it's subliminal?
Yeah.
It's a feeling of well-being because nothing, there's no discord. And that is unique.
Sure.
And that, I was perfectly aware that this would be destroyed once it sells.
You would hollow out the house, effectively.
Yes, I knew that. But I also knew that the way I looked at it, it also needs to be conserved by professionals. It needs to be curated. Are we a museum or are we a private house? If we have stuff of museum quality in it, we really are a museum. But we have no curator. We have no trained housekeeper, and I mean now trained by National Trust training. I'm a picture restorer, but I'm no curator, and I'm getting old. So there is a difference. My children are brilliant managers, but they are not necessarily trained to look after artifacts. Now, if it can be done that one can finance all that body to do that, brilliant. But I couldn't see, I couldn't.
Well, would I infer from that then that basically you're saying that there's a role there that the state could or maybe should have been playing up to now?
But the state has known for years, and we are the state. So we are all in up to our necks in difficulties.
That's where I can step in more. You know, I'm funny enough not as burnt out.
Not at all.
So
no, they're young.
We can step that up a bit more, and talks with Peter or the government or whatever. They're all the things that I'm doing and want to do more of. And if there was a way of keeping it all here, with some help with curation and things like that, of course, that would be fabulous.
Because just to explain the context of this, is it that Peter Murray and the Crawford Gallery in Cork would effectively take it on, but it stays here,
yes,
and it's curated?
Well,
that's what he says. That's what it says in the newspaper.
That's what Peter has been talking to me about.